Some breaking news now. Los Angeles officials have just announced that the singer D4vid is facing first-degree murder charges in connection to the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose remains were found in the trunk of D4vid's car last year. Take a listen.
I'm announcing the charges against David Anthony Burke, the musician known as D4vid, spelled D4VD, in connection with the brutal and horrific murder of Celeste, a 14-year-old at that time. These charges include the most serious charges that a DA's office can bring. That is first-degree murder with special circumstances. The special circumstances being lying in wait, committing this crime for financial gain, or murdering a witness in an investigation. These special circumstances carry with it, along with the first-degree murder charge, a maximum sentence of life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty. The determination on whether or not...
Very serious charges there coming out of that press conference in Los Angeles. Joining us now, we have Brittany Hope, who is from NBC Los Angeles and has been following this case closely. She joins us now along with Misty Maris, who is our NBC News legal analyst. Brittany, I want to start with you. I want to get into the nature of the specific charges, but I think a lot of people who have been following this case have also been wondering why it took so long to bring these charges, given that it was just described in that press conference as a brutal and horrific crime.
So, Morgan, as you said, we have been on this case since last year, and our law enforcement sources have told us that for a long time, D4vid was seen as a suspect in this case for months now. But because of how fragile this investigation is, and because they wanted to make sure that their T's were crossed, their I's were dotted, they were very, very careful before making that formal arrest. And that happened just at the end of last week when he was formally arrested by LA police in the Hollywood Hills, bringing us to today. Let's go over those three charges. So this is brand new. We just learned within the past few minutes the most serious charge, first-degree murder, with a special allegation that singer D4vid was lying in wait. District Attorney Nathan Hochman just said that prosecutors were alleging that this 14-year-old girl had gone to the singer's home and she had never been seen since. There's also other charges involving sexual assault and dismembering of a body. This is just step one. After this, the singer and TikToker will then go to court, and that's when he'll be presented with these new charges.
Brittany, thank you. I want to go to Misty now. So, Misty, D4vid was actually the target of this grand jury investigation in February, but he wasn't named as a suspect until just last week. Yep. Now we're seeing these charges. What do you make of the circumstances that the DA just laid out?
So this was really an unusual way that this case really came to be, because we're talking about a 7-month investigation since last September. A lot of hurdles here when we know that there was some serious decomposition of the body that was found. The medical examiner's report has been under seal. Perhaps that will change now that these charges have been formally brought. But what we saw was an arrest on Thursday without a grand jury indictment, without a criminal complaint. And now Nathan Hochman announcing what the basis for those charges are, and something that's very significant here. We did not know what the nature of the charges would be, if they would even be murder charges. We knew he was arrested on suspicion. But now it's first-degree murder with special circumstances. Those are the most serious charges that somebody could face in the state of California.
Can you drill down on that? Because I think that's interesting to a lot of people, these special circumstances, because he mentions lying in wait, he mentions financial gain, and then he mentions dismemberment. Explain that and how that affects the potential sentencing.
So when you have a first-degree murder charge, it's an intentional murder, but it can be even more severe when there's an enumerated special circumstance. Those are all laid out in the statute in California. So now we're learning some disturbing details, because this is the basis for the special circumstance charges: lying in wait, financial gain. However, we don't necessarily know what the facts behind that are, because we don't have all of the information about what will ultimately be presented to a jury when this case goes to trial. But this is the first insight we've had into exactly what the nature of the charges are. So this means the prosecutors believe there was an intentional murder that was committed with the lying in wait, financial gain, and the last one, which I think is very interesting, a witness to a crime, actually killing a witness to a crime. So that's really significant. There's going to be a lot more to this narrative. Remember what happened during the course of the investigation. It's taken a long time. There was a search warrant that was executed on his home. There were multiple individuals who were in his circle who actually testified before the grand jury, which was acting as an investigative body for months now.
And Misty, at the heart of this, a 14-year-old girl, her family that is grieving. I want to go back out to Brittany, who's standing by live in Los Angeles. Brittany, we understand Celeste Hernandez's family is expected to comment and deliver some remarks today. What have they said about the arrest so far of David?
This is going to be the first time that we have seen the family, that we have formally heard from the family since that arrest late last week. And the family said, they told us that they're at that press conference with the district attorney in LA County, with LAPD. They said that they are going to be in the courtroom today when that arraignment happens. Now, before that, the family had told us through our months of investigating this, they had known that Celeste had somehow known the singer David. Since then, it's been a long fight for justice. They say that this today is going to be some sort of a step forward.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.